You don't expect your kid's graduation party to turn into a battleground. But that's what happened when Diane Larson, our neighborhood's HOA tyrant, crashed my daughter Mia's big day, spitting venom about her disability right in front of everyone. Mia, who fought through years of challenges to earn her high school diploma, sat there in her wheelchair, heartbroken, as Diane called her a burden on taxpayers. What Diane didn't know was that Mia's quiet courage was about to bring the whole town together, and the mayor was on his way. I'm Rachel Turner, a single mom scraping by with 2 jobs in our little corner of Fairview, a small Ohio town where the HOA acts like it owns your soul. Fairview's the kind of place where folks wave from their porches, but the HOA, led by Diane, polices everything: your mailbox color, your lawn's exact shade of green. Mia, my 18-year-old, was born with cerebral palsy, which makes moving and talking a challenge, but her spirit's brighter than the sun. She's smart, stubborn, and just graduated high school after years of physical therapy, extra tutoring, and more grit than most folks muster in a lifetime. That Saturday, we threw a party in our backyard to celebrate her, stringing up dollar store balloons, setting out a homemade cake, and inviting a few neighbors. I spent my last paycheck on it, every cent worth it to see Mia smile. "Mom, it's too much," she said, her words a little slurred but full of love. "You deserve it, kid," I told her, tying one last streamer. "You earned this." The party started at 3 p.m., and it was perfect. Mrs. Lopez from next door brought her famous tamales. Old Mr. Jenkins rolled up with a card stuffed with $5, and Mia's teacher, Miss Carter, handed her a scrapbook signed by her classmates. Mia glowed, her laugh filling the yard, and for once, she didn't feel like the different kid. She was just Mia, the graduate, surrounded by folks who cared. Then, around 4, a voice like a whip cracked through the chatter. "What is this chaos?" Everyone turned, and there was Diane Larson, HOA president, standing at the gate like she'd caught us robbing a bank. Her blonde hair was sprayed stiff, her clipboard gleamed, and her scowl could have curdled milk. "Excuse me," I said, stepping forward. "This spectacle," she spat, waving at the balloons. "You got a permit for this? This isn't a fairground. It's a residential zone." I tried to stay calm. "It's just a small party for Mia's graduation." Diane's eyes landed on Mia, in her wheelchair, and her face twisted, like she'd smelled something rotten. "Oh, I see," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "Well, your situation doesn't give you a free pass to ruin the neighborhood." That word, situation, hit Mia like a slap. I saw her shrink, her hands gripping the armrests. Miss Carter stepped up. "Diane, we're celebrating Mia's hard work. She's earned this." Diane didn't blink. "I don't care what she's done. This mess, tacky decorations, cars clogging the street, it's tanking property values." Mia's eyes welled up, and I felt my blood boil, but Diane wasn't done. "You've got 1 hour to shut this down," she said, pulling out her phone, "or I'm calling the cops in the city for your illegal gathering." I pleaded, my voice shaking. "It's her graduation, Diane. We'll keep it quiet, I swear." She turned on me, her gaze cold. "Graduation? For what? So she can sit around collecting disability checks? What a waste of taxpayer money." The yard went dead silent, like the air itself held its breath. Mia's tears spilled over, her hands trembling. Diane's words weren't just cruel. They were a knife, cutting down every ounce of pride Mia had fought for. "How dare you?" I whispered, stepping closer. Diane smirked. "I'm just saying what everyone thinks. People like her drag down the neighborhood. You think buyers want to see a disabled kid rolling around? It's not a selling point." Mrs. Lopez gasped. Mr. Jenkins shook his head, but Mia just sat there, her light dimming. Diane tossed one last barb. "Next time, throw your pity party somewhere else," and stormed off, leaving us stunned. I knelt by Mia, grabbing her hands. "Don't listen to her, sweetheart. She's wrong about everything." But Mia's voice broke. "Maybe she's right, Mom. Maybe I'm just a burden." My heart shattered. "You're the strongest person I know," I told her, fighting tears. "She's nothing compared to you." The party fizzled out, guests slipping away with quiet apologies, leaving me and Mia in a yard full of balloons that felt like a cruel joke. That night, Mia cried herself to sleep, and I sat at the kitchen table, staring at her uneaten cake, my anger turning to resolve. Diane wasn't getting away with this. 3 days later, I was at my diner job when my phone buzzed. "Is this Rachel Turner, Mia's mom?" a warm voice asked. "I'm Greg Larson, mayor of Fairview. I got a letter from your daughter." My heart skipped, thinking Diane had made good on her threats. "A letter," I said, cautious. "Yep, from Mia," he replied. "It's powerful. She wrote about discrimination in our town, how some folks make people with disabilities feel unwelcome. I want to meet her." I nearly dropped the phone. Mia, my quiet girl, had turned her pain into action. "There's more about that party," I started, but Greg cut in. "I know. I've been digging. Let's just say Diane's been busy with complaints, and not the honest kind." The next day, I pushed Mia's wheelchair into City Hall, her nerves showing in her tight grip on the armrests. Mayor Greg, a friendly guy in his 50s, greeted her like she was royalty. "Mia, your letter blew me away," he said, sitting across from us. "You took something awful and made it a call for change. That's rare courage." Mia blushed, her voice soft. "I just didn't want other kids to feel like I did." Greg smiled. "You're going to help a lot of people. I'm launching a program called Open Hearts Fairview to make our town more inclusive for folks with disabilities. I want you as our first youth ambassador, reviewing policies, speaking at events, shaping the future." Mia's eyes went wide. "Me? Led a city program? Lead it," he said, grinning. "Your voice is what we need." He leaned forward, pulling out a file. "And Mia, I heard your graduation party got cut short. How about a do-over? Next Saturday, Memorial Park, full city support, permits, catering, the works." I squeezed Mia's hand, pride swelling. "A real party?" she asked, her smile creeping back. "Bigger than you can imagine," Greg said. As we left, Mia was practically glowing, her confidence reborn. That week was a whirlwind. Interviews, planning, donations pouring in from folks touched by Mia's story. The disability community rallied, businesses chipped in, and Fairview buzzed with excitement. I watched Mia transform, her doubt replaced by purpose, her pain fueling something beautiful. Saturday dawned bright, and Memorial Park was a dream. Food trucks, a stage, streamers everywhere, and hundreds of people, from kids in wheelchairs to families with service dogs, all mingling, laughing, playing. Mia sat on stage in her favorite purple dress, waving at the crowd, her joy infectious. Mayor Greg took the mic, his voice booming. "Welcome to the first Open Hearts Fairview celebration. Today, we honor diversity, strength, and young leaders like Mia Turner, who turned hurt into hope." The crowd roared, and I saw Mia sit taller, her eyes shining. But Greg's tone shifted, serious now. "We've got work to do. Some in our town have spread division, targeting families, seniors, folks with disabilities with false complaints." I spotted Diane in the crowd, her face pale, shifting like she wanted to bolt. Greg's eyes locked on her. Diane Larson stepped forward. The park went quiet, all eyes on her as she trudged to the stage, her usual swagger gone. "Diane," Greg said, holding up a thick folder. "You filed 19 complaints this year, against kids, elders, people like Mia. Everyone was baseless, some discriminatory, violating our anti-harassment laws." Diane stammered, her voice thin. "I was protecting property values." Greg's voice cut like a blade. "You were bullying. You harassed the vulnerable, tried to drive them out." He turned to the crowd. "Neighbors gave statements, your cruel words, your threats. You called Mia a waste, a burden." Diane's face burned. No escape. Effective immediately, Greg continued. "You're barred from filing complaints without proof. You'll serve 200 hours with our disability services team, and you're out as HOA president. The city's watching you now." Diane's mouth flapped, but no words came. Greg turned to Mia, his voice softening. "You owe her an apology." Diane faced Mia, the girl she'd crushed, now a leader on that stage. "I'm sorry," she choked out, tears in her eyes. "What I said was wrong, cruel." Mia looked at her, steady, strong. "I accept your apology," she said, her voice clear over the mic. "But I hope you learn. Everyone deserves kindness." The crowd erupted, clapping, cheering. As Diane slunk away, her reign over Fairview done. The party went on for hours. Kids played adaptive games, businesses pledged accessibility upgrades, and Mia's speech about inclusion left half the park in tears. As the sun set, I sat with her, watching a boy in a wheelchair race a girl with crutches, both laughing. "How do you feel, kid?" I asked. Mia smiled, her eyes on the crowd. "Proud, Mom. Not just of me, of everyone." Diane tried to make me feel like I didn't belong, but I belong everywhere. I hugged her tight, my heart full. 3 months later, Mia was speaking at conferences, advising on city projects, a voice for disabled kids across Ohio. Diane, working her community service, learned what Mia always knew: everyone's got worth. The HOA, now led by Mrs. Lopez, started a Neighbors Helping Neighbors group, turning Fairview into a place where kindness trumped control. But here's the thing. Diane's gone, but her kind of hate lingers. Was she just one bad egg, or do systems like HOAs, obsessed with perfection, breed that cruelty? Can people like her really change? Or is public accountability the only fix? Tell me in the comments. Have you faced someone who tried to dim your light because you were different? Share this if Mia's story hit you, and let's talk about building communities where everyone belongs. Because watching my girl shine, leading a movement from that stage, that's the win. But I wonder how many more Dianes are out there, waiting for their reckoning.